Yes, to continue with our discovery meetings as an Oracle, I want to introduce myself again. I am Osama Marzouqa, Account Executive. I am coming with my colleague Mohammed Abdo, Solution Engineer and Manager. Okay. We are based in Jeddah, in Oracle Jeddah office. Today we complete our discovery meetings that which will happened with your colleagues starting from the finance in Wednesday and also the project. And also we met engineer Yahya as a planet managers, okay, today morning. Today now we will continue our discovery meeting with inventory and supply chain and warehouse, okay, how's work, okay, and we'll see you as an Oracle, okay, our best practice, okay. Today it's a discovery meeting. We need to get more details about your daily transaction, okay, about the procurement, about the purchasing cycle, okay, about the warehouse, how you divide your warehouse, if you have warehouse A, B, okay. My colleague Rakan, he is a solution engineer. He's with us online. Okay. He's a subject matter expert and senior consultant for the supply chain management. Great. And he will cover all the tracks regarding to the procurement and supply chain in general. Okay.
Allow me also. Thank you, Osama. I would like to highlight a very important subject. We are talking about Oracle business process best practice. You will see this from Rakan. We already applied this with engineer Yahya. We applied what we call it driven base business process best practice across plant activities, across operation and maintenance, contracting. Trading is out of the picture when it comes to projects. But the point that we already aware of your business directions, the challenges, whatever, we already aligned this on the first 5 minutes with the engineer Yahya. We aligned the strategy, we aligned the business process starting from and ending to this activities. And we started to go into the lowest level of details with Rakan. Inshallah, we will do the same with you in supply chain, and we will finish today, inshallah, with the operation maintenance in addition to sales work. Rakan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Abdo. Hi team, how are you?
We are good. What about you?
All is good. Can you just give me a brief about your team and about your business functions? What do you do exactly?
You can start.
Shall we start from the warehouse?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. In warehouse, as you know, for current scenario, we have 4 companies. So once the procurement has processed the purchase order and the supplier is bringing the material, it comes directly under the warehouse. We receive it on behalf of the company. Okay.
Okay.
As the system is, merged. So when the PO is received in the system through the delivery note and the other documents which are necessary for the receiving, it shows as the inventory for that particular project or the company.
Okay. So just let me give you a brief about the solution capability, and then we're gonna take the discussion further. In general, our ultimate goal from today meeting, we need just to understand your current process, your as is. What is the process that you are using from business point of view? And we need to understand the level of automation that you have, what kind of obstacles that you might have, the area of improvement, even your expectation, what you would like to have in as a capability, as a enabler tools in your operation that can really add a practical value for your operation. In general, just to give you a brief about our solution, our Oracle Cloud solution going to cover your operations from different aspects. We're gonna have a unified data model in order to have a single source of truth that automate all the aspects of your business. From financial point of view, we have our ERP modules that cover all the finance aspects. Taking the process further in the supply chain, we have a capability that can automate your process in the supply chain in depth, starting from planning, executions, procurement, manufacturing, and so on. And the beauty of this solution, it's the connected process. And it's not just a process where or it's not just automated tools or IT solution that can automate your current process. In this process, we have embedded AI where the system always can give you certain recommendation to have certain actionable insight about your current process. So we're gonna recommend to you, for example, what would be, for example, I'll just give you an example related to your inventory process. The system will give you a recommendation what would be the right level of stock for your standard product. The system will give you a recommended calculation according to the historical pattern of that item. So this kind of capability for sure gonna add a certain value to your process. So in general, we are not talking about just IT solutions. We have the right practice for your industry. You are a project-based company. So we have a practice where we call it project-driven supply chain. That means the supply chain itself going to be always triggered from your project. We should have a certain supply chain that can support the project. But in order to reach to that level of automation, we should have a certain connectivity between the project and the supply chain. What do I mean by connected process? In general, once you have the project awarded, this is going to be translated as a project activity, as a POQ, as a task. So accordingly, we should have this kind of a definition in the system and translate the BOQ as a demand. According to certain BOQ and task, we should translate this to demand. This demand should be connected somehow to the supply chain department, where they're gonna secure all the needed items to the project itself. One of the practice that we are talking here about, it's a project-driven supply chain that if we can categorize it, we're gonna categorize it to three main activities, starting from the planning, execution, and control. In the planning part, this is more to the project where the project are going to define the projects or the activities, what would be the material needed, when they should be secured, and so on. Accordingly, we should have a certain planning tools that consolidate all of that demand that coming from the project. And by the way, as we have discussed right now, the process with the manufacturing team, today the manufacturing, they are not just producing the item for sake of the demand that comes from the project. No, they have another revenue stream, which is the external customer sales order.
That's what I would talk about. Yeah.
This is so I think
what telling about project-driven supply chain journey, it doesn't cover all the aspects of our business, which is as it is. A big chunk of our business is on our direct sales with the external clients, and our inventory system has to be aligned with that as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's just one of the practice that related to the projects. But in general, we're gonna have a planning where we're gonna capture the demand that comes from the project as well as the external customer. But at the end, from planning point of view, which is the initial process of the supply chain, right? We should have a consolidated demand plan. That plan should be consist of the demand that comes from the project as well as from the external customer order. Once we have that demand plan, this consolidated or consensus demand plan, we can translate it as a planned order where we can automate the execution part. So in general, I'm gonna have, for example, a sales order for external customer for certain item to be produced. Accordingly, the system going to capture this and should translate this as a planned order to the execution team to just inform them this is what would be the orders that should secure that demand from the external customer. But at the end, we should consolidate all of this demand in one platform and execute it properly. So this is kind of capability that we do have today. And accordingly, we need just to discuss this process with you further in order to understand what you are doing today from business point of view and what would be the challenges that you are facing today. Actually, from supply chain point of view, we have a different process that cover your operation. Right now, we're gonna focus more onto the logistics part and the procurement part, which is we call it full source to settle process. which is starting from define the supplier, evaluation of that supplier, how we can take the process further through the RFQ, the tendering, the sourcing, till we reach to the execution part of the PO. And what would be the connectivity between the procurement team or the supply chain team with the logistics, with the warehouse? Do we have a full connected cycle, or we have certain disconnection here and there? So this, all of this kind of process, or all of these kind of challenges, we need to highlight it today and address it in order to come later on for you with the right solution, with the right use case that can connect all the dots all together. Today, according to our session right now, yeah,
If you
please go
can
ahead.
allow me a minute, because we have been working on this innovation from a long time, and we have prepared certain points from the warehouse perspective. If maybe we can cover these, this will help us a lot. If you can just give me a brief that do we have the capability in the Oracle system to perform these tasks? Shall I tell you what are the things which we are looking for right now?
Can you tell
From the
me,
warehouse
or can you elaborate more about this process, please?
That's what I'm gonna do. See, I have around 13 to 14 warehouses in Jeddah, then I have in Riyadh and Dammam.
Okay.
So they are divided with different names, okay?
Okay.
Then inside the warehouse, I have different sections. Section A, section B, section C.
Inside the
Then,
warehouse zones, you have multiple
yeah,
zones. Okay.
yeah. And then inside one area, I have different locations as per the row number, you know, the warehouse management system, right?
Yeah.
The row, each location is having its name, which is different than the other.
A number and tagging number. Yes.
Yeah, name complete.
Okay.
What we want is in our current system, we don't have the opportunity to have these location addresses inside. Yeah. So will it be possible for you to deliver us that?
Yes, 100%. But
Great.
I need to understand more about your warehouse structure. So how many centralized warehouse you have? I think that we gonna have a project site as well. What is the
Mm.
relation between the project site and the centralized warehouse? How we are managing the replenishment? How we do the transfers, along with the as you just mentioned right now, the structure inside the warehouse itself. How many
Mhm.
dimension you are having today? It's just like aisle or shelf, or it's, as you have mentioned, it's a combination
So we
between
have
zone.
mixture of everything here because you know Al Kauthar is mashallah working from 1979. So we are a blend of past, present, and future. So hopefully things will be much more appropriate in coming time. The connection between the site warehouses and our central warehouses is, you can say, relatively none.
By email or
Yeah,
it's by email.
it's manual. We are depending upon their feedbacks and their emails. We don't have a control over here. And
So if the project site need to, there is a need for certain items, they are requesting the same out of system by sending email.
Sending
yeah,
email through
exactly.
Excel sheet.
Emails
Excel
and
sheet.
all that kind of stuff.
ما عندنا
It's not
system.
centralized, and we don't have a control. We cannot see what is exactly their stock right now because you know it's disconnected from us. We don't have any connection through the system with them. But inshallah, eventually, when we will move to Oracle, I hope that we have the scope to create
100%.
temporary warehouses as per the project's need, right?
Project site or site warehouse, 100%.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, another
They're
challenge.
not able also to check the quantity.
Yeah.
They don't know. So,
Because then they are not releasing it from
Yeah.
the system.
yeah.
Once we are dispatching anything from the
updated.
central
Yeah.
warehouse, it's like
And
already
once.
they used it on the project.
It's consumed already.
Yes.
You cannot see
Yes.
that it's still in stock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically, it should not be like this, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. The another thing which we are facing problem in our as it is system, as I guess our team has already explained you in your previous meetings. Right now, we are dealing with 4 companies under one umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So while if I want a consolidated inventory report for all the companies, because in our case, we have some or several items which are used in all the companies. So if I
Yeah.
want a consolidated report for all the stocks to know specifically, I don't have this facility.
Going
I
to
hope
be, I
this
think
won't
you're
be
gonna
the case.
generate multiple reports from multiple legal entity and do the reconciliation out of the system through the Excel sheet.
Yes. Yeah, Salam. Exactly. You're hitting the right now. Okay. Whenever there is an action, like suppose if the project team has raised a demand for logistical arrangements, or they have raised a purchase request, for all the movements, whenever there is an action is taken, we need email notification to the stakeholders.
Okay.
Like for example, one administrator, he submitted a purchase request. Once it
Okay.
is approved by the first level, he should get a notification. Once it's approved by the second level, the first level and the initiator should get the notification. Once all levels are done, the procurement should get the notification that you have a new approved purchase request. Once it is converted into a PO, all the stakeholders, depending upon like maybe projects, maybe warehouse, procurement, they all should get a knock from the system that this PO is issued.
Yes.
And once the procurement set the delivery date with the coordination of the supplier, I, as a warehouse, I should get a notification in time so I can arrange myself and my place for this one. Is it
Okay.
possible?
For sure. And we're gonna take the process more further. For the PR itself, we should have a certain workflow mechanism in order to make sure that we have the right purchasing policy upon or among our PR transaction. So this is one of the capability, but there is different dimension, right? So for
Mhm.
example, in the PR, which is related to certain project, in the PR level itself, we should have a certain validation on the budget, on the project budget control.
Mhm.
So we need to make sure that this PR, along with the manager approval, going to be validated from budget point of view,
True, true, true.
right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. That goes without saying. Okay. Approval
and
flow.
just to confirm this point, so the PR itself, it's being created from the system, but I don't think you have the right work or the right purchasing policy over this PR, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's very complicated and it's not proper.
Even there is no notification.
Mainly there is
Yeah.
no
يعني
notification.
requester he can issue a large number of PRs and without any notification and without any budget number. As we discussed last week with the Haja project, we need to make
Linked
control.
somehow to, is
So
it by the system, the PR itself,
You
is it
cannot
linked somehow to
issue the PR. This is very important point.
Yes. No.
Okay, as of now, in our current system, we don't have any approval flow for sales or transfer orders. So that
Okay.
would be required. And also the knock will go to all
If we
these
can
stakeholders
just,
who have a
if,
role to play.
if we can just focus on the PR itself, is it somehow linked to the project activity?
Project activity, in which way you want to
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, for
See.
example, today I have a demand coming from the project, and
Hmm.
accordingly I have to fulfill that demand. So the project side, he has to generate, or the project manager, he has to generate a PR related
Hmm.
to his project, and even it's not just related to the project, related to specific activity on that project. So
Mhm.
it's somehow, do we have this capability today?
Yeah,
Yes,
because
yeah.
when they raise the PR, they put the project number in it, which project it belongs to.
Okay, and this is managed by system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There is any budget control validation by system, systematic way?
Yeah, we have now.
No.
Budget
No
control.
validation.
Manual,
Supplier
yeah.
number.
Yeah, there's no validation for that. It doesn't check itself that the
They're
budget is
putting
there
it-
or not.
Yeah,
احنا
yeah.
بنحطه manual البادجت.
I understand. يعني it's coming from finance.
Yes.
The point here, yeah, I would like to clarify something. What Rakan is trying to achieve is not only get the project number on the PR, but it's a completed cycle, starting from the project. In addition, he mentioned about a specific task in this project. So you will be able to link this PR to a specific project with the project details, not just a cost center from a financial perspective, but also from project perspective, a complete project business view.
Mhm. I get your
Exactly.
point.
Exactly.
We
Just
don't have
work
it right.
through approvals. We should have a project budget validation control over the PR to make sure that we are somehow aligning with the original project budget that being allocated to that project. So in order to have such control, in addition to link the PR itself to the project, we should have a validation somehow to the budget, along with the certain approvals that comes from the requester manager and so on. Okay.
One more thing from the inventory management perspective. Let's say I, as warehouse manager, put a certain threshold level for the stocks of our items, and it is approved by the sales. So what I want from the system is once it's like, let's say 25% to 30% remaining, it should notify me and the stakeholders that
Amazing.
this stock is getting finished, so we can arrange the refurbishment.
يعني we need to control minimum والماكسيمم stock. هذه احنا discussed also last week.
Yes.
You told me إن شاء الله next Sunday
So here you are requesting a certain
to control the minimum and maximum
right.
stock.
So you are requesting a replenishment mechanism where the system going to trigger the procurement team that this item go below the minimum stock.
Minimum stock.
Call it
Exactly.
like the order point.
So
Exactly.
we receive notification by email that this is خلاص you are now you're reaching the minimum number.
Will be automatic. It will be created.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for some
No.
BRs. For some BRs we need to keep it خلاص يعني reordering.
Because see,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
it's about season as well. Maybe in the months from March to June, we need that thing in maximum number.
Yes.
And in the season like this, we don't want it in that much number. So only a notification triggering from the system informing us that it's running low will be enough for us. So the core of action will be decided by us
Yes.
manually. One more thing which I have is, see, this is what we faced a lot of business loss due to this one. What happened, like maybe I'm sitting in Jeddah, I'm a salesman, let's say.
Okay.
I had an order, I looked into the inventory, I saw that, okay, this is available, and I quoted and I got my deal. At the same time, my colleague in Riyadh has done the same thing.
In this.
So what happened at the time of delivery?
We're asking you about a reservation, Mr.
Ya
So,
salam.
what is the reservation?
Reservation after the
No,
approval of the sales manager,
Happened 2-3 times.
2-3 times.
I think, Rakan, we jumped to the sales. So if you would like to continue,
Actually, I have one more point related to the PR. Today, once the PR being raised from the project manager, from the project side, this PR should goes to the inventory to check to the inventory team to check if there is availability of that requested item or not. Then it will goes to the procurement if there is a gap. So this
We are
process.
doing it
Manually.
manually. احنا بنسويها اجتهادات شخصية.
We are doing it manually.
Okay. Okay.
For the part of receiving goods, is the team also responsible for the quality, or there is another team will be responsible for the quality?
Another
For
requester will be responsible.
receiving the
Yeah. See, we have,
equipment purchased or material or chemicals.
this is another check which we will put in the system. One is receiving. Once we receive the delivery note, we received it in the system. The requester will do the material inspection report on the system,
MIR.
which will, yes. Yeah, either he attend or either he comes
Yeah,
later.
Requester is doing the receiving manually اللي هو بالMIR material inspection report.
It's better to buy.
But we need to keep it in the
We can.
system.
Yes, we talked
Yeah.
about this.
So he can write in the system the
Yeah,
remarks
exactly.
and
We
he
need
can
to activate the quality.
MIR and the inspection report.
Quality.
We're gonna come to the team. We're gonna come to this point. We're gonna discuss the inbound process, including the quarantine and the inspections of the receiving. We're gonna come to this. But before we jump to that point, you just mentioned a point related to the reorder point, right? And totally it's managed out of system. My
Mhm.
understanding is right?
Yeah, your understanding is right. Absolutely right.
Great. And you raised one another dimension for the planning, which is more, if I can call it like this, from business point of view, it's more to seasonality. There are certain months we have a certain peak on certain item type where we have to take this seasonality in the consideration, right?
Right.
And in this case, I think we are talking about the standard product. So in general, you have a standard and non-standard product. So for standard product, we should have a mechanism where we can calculate the forecast, taking the consideration the seasonality part.
Yeah, but still,
What is this
from the
seasonality?
system, we would like only a notification telling us that this the stock is hitting the minimum threshold level. That's it. the mode of action will be decided by the management.
Then it will sort of.
Actually, just to give you a hint about the capability for that process specifically, for sure, we're gonna let you know that you already go below the minimum stock, and the
That's
system.
it. This is what we are looking for. Any action from the system, we don't need it.
Actually, the system will not take an action. The system will give you a recommendation from our AI capability. What the system will do, it will give you the forecast, just to forecast the plan. So this is the forecast according to your historical transaction. The system will understand the pattern of the consumption for that item and give you, as along with the replenishment plan, will give you a forecast plan. So this forecast plan, it's under your control. So either you execute it as it is, either you will do certain update. It's up to you.
Great. One more thing which we similar kind of items. Let's say a tissue paper is from Kleenex and then there is one from Fine. So what I found in the system that, in my opinion, there should be only one item code as tissue paper. That's it. But what is happening? We have an item code for tissue paper, Kleenex, tissue paper. We need to avoid this duplication.
Yes.
How can we control it in your system?
Item size, color configuration, configuration metrics.
In most cases, we strongly recommend it to have one responsible. We call it item administrator. It's internal control. From system perspective, yes, we have the capability to check for any duplicates. Correct. But
you mean duplicate items, or you mean you want only tissue item and another list to determine the type and size and color?
Because we had a lot of problems.
Same item, but with two codes.
But the other option I am talking, you require item color size matrix, item configuration matrix, like a pump, then another list, horsepower, then another list.
Category.
Subcategorize. That would be good. That would be good.
Category will be good.
This is the specifications.
Item specifications.
We need.
But I think your question was related to
Duplication.
preventing duplicate
Duplication,
items. Yes.
Yeah, we
In
need
this
to.
case, actually, we have a complete process. We call it product lifecycle management, where we're gonna have a centralized process of definition the item, to define the item profile. We have a full complete process where we can apply a certain workflow approval, where we can have a capability to define what would be the item specification, dimension, and so on, in order to make sure that there is no duplication of the item according to your policy, according to the definition policy that you have today. In the PLM, which is the product lifecycle capability module, which is one of the capability under our solution, we're gonna avoid any duplication by having such a practice. So this is, yes, as answering your question, we have the capability to control this. But in order to reach to that level of automation, from engineering or from a business point of view, we should centralize the creation of that item, because I do believe
That is now even, but still we are unable.
The responsibility of duplication is the users.
I understand. But see, the more checks we put, like more subcategories we have to divide it into, there are more chances that there will be less duplication, right? So yeah, it's an acceptable idea. One more thing, that let's say if one item which I'm adding new, it matches around 80% with some item which is already in the system, will system be able to indicate me that, do you mean this? Maybe you are duplicating it.
yes,
Control like this is possible?
yes.
I know I'm being very.
It's your time to share all your thoughts.
But I know I saw the word AI, so I'm like, okay, let's take dream. Yeah, let's dream bigger.
It's very important.
And he can search about
Take your time.
part of the item name. AI will tell him.
It's available already.
Do you mean this one? So yeah, this is already existing in your system. So he might see, oh, because this is the same item, but it was made in 2022. So it's 2022, but now 2023. But the item is same. The same price. So it's a duplication. So he will avoid creating a new item.
You know what? We can reach. It depends on your requirement, but as a capability from our side, we can reach to something called vendor managed inventory. That means your supplier can apply their category in your system by the supplier portal, and you can verify all of these new items and publish it in your inventory system. So
Wow.
We have a full capability here to define the item from our side, to have a full collaboration with the supplier to do the same through the product lifecycle management along with the supplier portal. So we can reach to that level of automation.
That's great. That's great. That pretty much answers my question. Thank you.
Go ahead, please. So you were mentioning a lot of issues. Please feel free and tell me about it. Go ahead.
See, recently one issue came to our consideration. It happened in sales. There was one item and it was duplicated, you know. It was created twice in the system. So one, they bought it back in 2018. So the selling price was different. Then we bought it in 2024. The selling price was different. So the sales rep, when he saw it in the system, he quoted the price which was for the same item in 2018.
Yeah.
You can say it was system mistake. So
we can,
yeah.
we can manage price lists versions like this. We have this option, so we can put a starting price for each year to update the price.
But
And
basically,
we can
this
make
happened
a
because the same item was duplicated.
Yeah, for the application, the item profile itself. And it's not just
Yeah.
the price, it's affect the cost, right? I think you are applying average
Indeed.
cost. So in this case,
We were not applying anything.
totally wrong.
For this, you have sales description
Hmm.
for the same device or same materials. يعني عندنا many duplicate system على each material.
See, this is why they are saying that once we
You
will.
have to make the link. The system have option to suspend any item, so you can suspend the old item and keep only the new item.
This is what
you
we
have
need.
the ability to enforce a sales price from a price list, so
Mhm.
it will come to the user from the line, so he can update the line. by price.
Great. Now, what they're saying that how the item code will be created. Let's say we
And
want to create for. iPhone.
should be the same.
يعني
No,
almost the same يعني.
the new system which they're giving. Let's say we want to create an item code for the iPhone. It's
Yeah.
further divided into many categories.
You
It
allow
will
me,
ask
you need to
which
understand the current
Uh,
item category you do have. So I think
which
you
we
have
So
inventory
if I-
item related to project.
it again,
Raquel,
this will come out that you have already.
بس
had.
we have هنا
Can be handled.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
In ERP, even is a current ERP,
يعني
that you
ده
have to request.
طيب Raquel, what is
So
your
the culprit
question?
is here.
Actually, my question was related to the current item category you do have. So in general, for sure, you have the inventory item related to the project. You have a raw material related to the manufacturing. I think you have another category related to the spare part. So if you can tell me about your category more.
We have so many other material. Then we have for spare parts. We have for plant machinery, electrical, mechanical, O&M,
PVC,
pumps.
PVC, CPVC,
Consumable.
consumables. Too much means more than
Hardware.
200. And now I think to more than 200 we have the category
Do
now.
you have an option to auto number the item as per for each category?
Yeah,
For
first
each
3
item
digits
group?
would be the.
So
But I
they
don't,
can-
I don't think the auto numbering or the auto sequence number, it's a capability in Dynamics. So you don't have this capability today. You are creating the item number directly manual from your side. You are inserting the item number in the system. The system will not give you the sequence of the item number.
in some,
Systematic.
in some,
No,
some
manually we select it.
in some systems they make auto serial different for each group. We have this capability.
We need customization of the auto numbering.
As per item group, can I have different number sequence, one for each item group, different than the other group? So I can put abbreviation in the sequence
Abdu,
number like.
Abdu, you were asking this question, right?
لا, the question is asked by engineer Mohammed Salah.
Application manager from
Okay.
the Kautar.
Nice to meet you, my friend. Answering the question, yes, we have this capability, but it's missing in current Microsoft. I know for this. I know for a fact.
Microsoft, we are trying to get it's available in Oracle or no?
It is there, yes.
Yes.
So each item group I can put a different sequence number.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
So one of the easiest ways, so you can focus and
Yes.
search for each category.
One more thing. Let's say we have a metal sheet which is 10 meters long. We sent it to our project site. They used 8 meter of it. Now the project is finished. They don't need this material anymore. They are sending it back to us. We need to get it back in the inventory. How this will be treated?
Negative questions.
Let's say
تكلمنا عليه الاسبوع اللي راح. هذه
it's
الاشياء
one
لازم
piece,
المشاريع.
10 meter. Only 2 meter is left.
Yes.
So how do they?
You already issued it
Yeah.
by minus.
No, 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 no,
or
no.
by
دقيقة عشان احنا بندسكس هذه الاسبوع اللي راح تكلمنا فيها انه المشاريع بيطلبوا في المشروع مواد وتنخصم من الكوست حق المشروع. لما نخلص المشروع بترجع
صحيح.
المواد في يعني كميات زيادة،
زيادة صح.
هذه بترجع عندنا بنحطها في مستودع.
انت عايز ايه بقى؟
أيوة،
لازم تقول
هذه-
انا عايز
بنرجعها
في المشروع
هذه احنا لما
من غير ما
جبنا
اثر على فكره المشروع.
المشروع خلاص وكده
يبقى انت عايز ترجعها
انخصم من المشروع
خلاص كده كده.
هي اكسترا بروفيت على المشروع.
ايوه اكسترا
هذا
بروفيت.
هيدن مارجن.
يس.
هو
انت ممكن تاخذهم وتبيعهم براني
يا
وهم
سلام
طالعين
عليك.
بالسيستم.
يا سلام عليك.
قدامك
احنا هنا قاعدين نعملها بنحطها في اكسل شيت
يس.
وكنترول.
ركان السؤال وضحت الصورة عندك ركان السؤال.
يعني الى حد ما
لحد ما مشروع في عليه 10 ايتم صرفوا له اياهم اوكي، بس لخلص المشروع اوكي رجع من الاصل 10 ايتمز مثلا نصهم تمام اوكي، هذول الخمسه بيقدروا يرجعوهم على المشروع. هم هلا بوقت الحاضر يحطوهم على اكسل شيت لحالها وصفى زي ما بيقولوا هذا مستودع الفائض تمام اوكي،
يعني ما يفرق يعني.
اوكي
يا باشمهندس يقدر
لانه
يرجعهم.
هاي اكسترا مارجن على المشروع بدل ما يكون المشروع
مش عايز يرجعهم على المشروع. لو رجعهم على المشروع هيغير تكلفه المشروع.
يس.
صح؟ وعايز يرجعهم بس مش على المشروع.
لأن المشروع خلاص قفل كلوز.
لا يخصموا من المشروع، صف المشروع مش مصروف عليه 10.
شباب مفهوم. شباب اسمحوا لي بس summarize the case.
مصروف عليه 10.
لاني انا اشتريتها اوريدي خلاص كده وخصمتها من البادجت حقها.
طيب هاي ركان تفضل معلش، هو بجوز ركان انك انت سمعت صار في ديسكشن وبالتالي ما وضحت الصوره بالنسبه لك.
يعني لا بتخيل وضحت بس يعني just to confirm my understanding today some
بعمل دوكيومنت
إيه.
مانجر قلت لك اياها هلا ان ديتيلز. تفضل.
هي دحين زي ما قلنا استاذ ركان في عندي 10 ايتم حلو انصرفت واشتريتها خلاص عن مشروع حلو. لما المشروع خلص وقفل في
نعم.
5 انها ما استعملوها الشباب في المشاريع فرجعوا لي المستودع. فانا قاعد محتفظ فيها في مستودع حلو وقاعد حاططها في شيت اكسل.
لا بس فهموا ان انت مش عايز ترجعهم.
ايه بس ال5 هذه انا ما ابغى احطها خلاص في الكوست حق المشروع.
بدك ترجعها على centralized warehouse.
ابغى ارجعها عند فلور هاوس
من غير ما
لانه
يأثر الصرف. يعني لو عايز
أيوه.
المشروع يفضل شايل ال 10
خلاص يشيلها ال10.
طيب هذا الإجابة لهذا السؤال يعتمد أنت اليوم كيف عم تتعامل مع الانفنتوري لما تم استلامه من الأساس. يعني اليوم أنت لما استلمت ال10 حبات، يعني خلينا ناخذ هذا الإكزامبل، استلمتها في بي او لما كان في عندي نيد من بروجكت معين وطلع عندي بي او وتم عمليه الاستلام. عند
نعم.
عمليه الاستلام هل انت استلمت ال10 على الوير هاوس وبعدين بلشت تصرف عليها بناء على البروجكت نيد، ولا عند عمليه الاستلام انت اعتبرت المخزون عباره عن مصروف دايركت على البروجكت؟
هلا احنا we receive it in the warehouse then هذا احنا نعمل له ايشونس للبروجكت.
تمام.
send it.
فبالتالي في عندك عمليه استلام مخزني بتكون على المستودع المشروع وبيتم عمليه صرف بصوره لاحقه.
يا اصلا ما في المشاريع ما في مستودعات، هي كلها عندي في جده في الخبر وفي الرياض. فالمواد بتخش المستودع السنترلايز ومن هنا بنصرفها
المشروع
على المشروع خلاص بيست على بي او. يعني بتيجي للمدير المستودع البي او نمبر ولا الورقه حقت البي او معها الدليفري نوت والانفويس، على اساسها بيصرف المواد هذه على المشروع.
طيب انت اليوم استلمت 10 على السنترايز وير هاوس تمام؟
لا.
وهذا
خلاص
ريليتد.
ها معلش
نعم انت يعني خلينا ناخذ هذا المثال، انت استلمت كميه معينه، خلينا نحكي 10 حبات على المستودع الرئيسي عندك، وهذه متعلقه في مشروع معين. طيب استلمت استلام مخزني وصارت موجوده عندك في المخزن. ليتر المشروع طلب من هذول ال10 فور اكزامبل 5 حبات.
اوكي لو كده الكيس مختلف، بس هم غالبا بيطلبها كلها. بيقول
بيطلبها
لك
تمام. كلها انت شو بتعمل؟ المفروض تعمل ترانسفير اوردر من مشروعك من مستودعك لمستودع المشروع، ولا بتعمل عمليه صرف؟
لا هو ما في مستودع في المشروع، بس انا بصرفها صرف كامل للمشروع خلاص على طول.
طلعهم لو تسمح لي باشمهندس ركان، هو الايشيو عنده او سؤاله مش في ازاي يصرفهم على المشروع. هو خلاص ممكن يصرف 5 او يصرف 10. هو مشكلته انه لما صرف ال10 المفروض يفضل المشروع متاثر بال10. ساعات بيتبقى في المشروع رواجع عايزين يرجعوها، بيعتبروها بروفيت بعيد عن المشروع، ويسيب المشروع متاثر بتكلفه ال10 كاملين.
صحيح. ما عشان هيك انا سالت هذا السؤال ليه؟ انا بدي
هو
اعرف بس انا بدي اعرف بس واقع الحال اليوم. هل اليوم فعليا انت لما صرفت ال10 على المشروع، هل المشروع فعليا استلمهم وصرفهم دايركت على المشروع، ولا خزن جزء وبلش يصرف بصوره جرادجوال؟
لا هو ما عنده مخزن خلاص،
بيصرف
مجرد
دايركت كله.
نعم، مجرد انا ما صرفت من جدة خلاص.
وفعليا انا ما عندي سايت بروجكت ابدا، ما عندي مستودع للمشروع نهائيا.
لا ما
انا
في
بستلم
استلم.
المستودع الرئيسي على طول بصرفه.
نعم.
يعني
طيب
تبعت
اذا هو تم صرفه بصوره نهائيه، فبالتالي انت لما بدك ترجع ال5 هدول، هنا بدنا نعمل احنا اصلا الكوست اتكلف ك10 حبات على المشروع.
صح.
طب انا سؤالي، اذا اليوم انا ما عندي مخزن، الكميه اللي متبقيه اللي ما انصرفت وين انحطت؟
ما
في
هم
المشروع.
خلاص هم عند في المشروع يحطوه في اي مكان عندهم.
يعني
ما
مش
في مكان
هو مش
معين.
هيعرف يوصل لهم غير بأمانة الناس. ما عندوش
يا
سيستم، ما
سلام.
عندوش سيستم يقول له عندك قد ايه متبقي. هو
يا
بس
سلام،
راح جلد او يعني لم اللي باقي وبيرجعه المصنع.
بأمانة الناس زي ما تفضل.
طب احنا اليوم ما عندنا توجه انه يعمل لو يعني فيرتشوال وير هاوس او وير هاوس بسيط في البروجكت عشان نعمل كنترول لهاي السايكل؟ في عندنا توجه لهذا الموضوع ولا لا؟
احنا ممكن في في المشاريع القادمة نخلي كده اريا يكون فيه يعني للتخزين.
يعني هذا بصراحة هو الرايت براكتس، انه انت
هي
يكون
ممكن
عندك مستودع.
ستور
Then we
صغير
have to
small.
have a storekeeper there who will release everything.
Yes.
In this case, once you have a storekeeper in the project site, you're gonna control of this issuance of the item, and you're gonna
No,
control the cost
there is,
allocation over the project.
see, normally in our projects, we don't have the facility of a store or a storekeeper at site. But if we have, then I have a plan for this, which is, let's say once I receive material in central warehouse, when I'm sending it to the site warehouse, I will not consume it. I'll not consider it as consumed. I'll just transfer that amount of
Exactly.
inventory to my
Exactly.
other.
This is the right practice. Exactly.
And from there, let's say there are 10 pieces and they use only 4,
You're
but
gonna
that
return it back.
yes, exactly, and the remaining should be with them and it will return.
This
But
is the right
right
practice.
now, see, this is the ideal situation which we are talking about, but the things are not always as per our idealism, right?
Yeah. So in this
Right
case,
now,
if you don't have that control today, in this case, you have to do adjustment in the project. And for the inventory part that transferred back from the project site to the central warehouse, you have to manage it in the inventory as a inventory transaction. So you're gonna increase your inventory by receiving that item through a miscellaneous transaction, and you're gonna put your cost. You're gonna put a cost from your side, or we can just retrieve the last average cost of that item in order to
how
receive.
the item numbers will be treated? Will there be a separate identification for the items which are returned? Because you cannot consider them as new. And sometimes what happens is like they bought a set of, let's say, 5-6 items. And when it went to the site, they used only 2. But in my system, the unit of Meyer is set, right? And when it's coming back, it's not the complete set. How the system will treat this thing?
The best practice, yeah, Mr. Rakan, we can tell them about the best practice that we should have a different warehouse for each project, and we should affect only the project with the right cost, so we can keep the other stock available, so we can make some transfers after project closed.
Exactly. This is the right practice. Exactly.
What you mean is like, let's say whatever returned from one project, we will keep it at one place. Let's get the price
One
list.
system. You issue to 10 pieces to the warehouse of the project.
Okay.
Then during using, you have to issue whatever you are using.
This is not happening.
Will be
For
on the
this,
system
for
as a
this,
warehouse.
you need a manpower there to issue it as per the requirement.
Project manager.
This is the ideal.
And you have complaint. So what you should
Project manager can do.
This is something happening from 40 years.
you want to follow, you keep the same.
We
احنا
but
ممكن
that
نخلي بالسودا صغير هو البيست براكتس.
yeah, and have a storekeeper for each.
الماتيريال تروح هناك خلاص delivered directly to the site.
We can manage this
From
by
the site he can issue.
we can manage this Mr. Rakan. We can manage-
هذا هو فعلا.
we can manage this with only one warehouse for projects, and we can make different dummy locations. for
Exactly.
each. Have a dummy location.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Have dummy location under project warehouse for each project.
Exactly. Since you have locations and different zones in the project, in your warehouse,
In central
this is very clear.
Yeah.
Do you have today a scanning process, barcoding for the item, barcoding for the warehouse location, or the
Nothing.
warehouse tagging number? So do you have such process today, or you don't have the barcoding system?
No, as of now we don't have it.
I think for the spare part we can apply this capability, right? Or do you have any plan, futuristic plan to apply such capability?
We considered
To be
about
organized spare parts, organized material.
It will be shown on the product list.
we are pondering on it until now. It's still in the planning and strategic section. It does not materialized. We are working on this one. We are giving a thought to this as management.
We follow the standard, the best practice.
Okay. So we discussed the material request that coming from the project, and as we understood, it's totally out of system. What about the other MR, for example, for the maintenance? Is it somehow automated or also it's out of system? The same question for the manufacturing raw material request.
Service request, you mean?
Material.
Material
Well,
request.
It's the service.
Services.
Yeah, it's a service request. Once the job is done, by email, okay, from the maintenance manager, he is notifying the warehouse manager that the service is done. After that, he will close it through the system.
No, before we finalize the work request itself, sometimes the work order needs certain spare part. So how today the technician going to request this request or this order from you as an inventory? Do they generate certain MR or just communicate the same by email?
Internal purchase request.
PR.
It's PR. Internal purchase request we have. Based on this, we issue the packing slip and then it.
But as you know, Mr. Rakan, we will not be full companies anymore. So it will not be because we will be one company.
It's a new news.
We have one stock.
Okay, good.
Requesting the PR to material request process.
Same.
And that will be linked with the job order, right?
Manufacturer.
Unified process for material.
That will be linked with the job order. Once, let's say, a factory open a job order on certain employee, then the material is added and then it is delivered from the inventory. It will get, yeah, okay. I get it.
It's so.
That would be great.
Okay. And I think this is also applied on the manufacturing, or the manufacturing unit.
Manufacturing, operation, maintenance, for all of them, it will be applied.
Okay. Can you tell me more about your warehouse structure? How many warehouses again you have? And according to my understanding, there is no project site for the time being. But do we have a certain warehouse for the workshop, for the maintenance? Do we have the same for the manufacturing unit?
See, as of now, as we are divided into 4 companies, so all the material in the central warehouses is as per the material specification. We have a different place for electrical material, different for mechanical. Chemicals is different, yeah. It doesn't matter which company it belongs to, but with the type of material, we are segregating it as of now, physically.
Okay. For the other inventory transaction today, are you utilizing the current dynamics to manage, for example, the cycle count, the inventory adjustment? What kind of transaction today?
Inventory adjustments, we are doing it as per the need. Then the internal transfers between the branches, as we told you, we have a branch in Riyadh and Khubar as well. So the internal transfers are done through that. And as right now we are in 4 companies, so transferring the inventory from one company to other company, This is what we are doing through the system.
It's
We
not
see
transferring. I think for the internal need between the companies, it's like a PR, right?
it's PR. It's based on the PR, and then it turns into PO, internal PO.
Okay. Okay.
Procurement is involved. We complete the process manually. Like they ask for the quotation. Let's say if a factory needs to buy something from the projects, they will raise a PR. The procurement team will get the quotation from the project team, and
Okay.
then they will tell them to issue it, and then the invoice will be made by the finance, and then it will be issued to the factory.
It's very clear if the item is not there and we should secure it through procurement process. What if the item it's there in our own hand, in our centralized warehouse? What would be
In
the process in this
in
case?
in the current process, as we are in 4 companies, let's say if the factory is asking me for one thing which is already available in their inventory, it only needs the purchase request and we will issue it. That's it.
You will issue it as a what? As a inventory issuance or transfer order?
As inventory issuance
Okay.
based on the reference to that purchase request.
So in this case, how the manufacturing unit going to receive that? Going to do adjustment receiving the item by inventory transaction, complete disconnected process?
We will receive it on their behalf. They will just sign the delivery note manually. That's it.
So you are just do inventory issuance and inventory receiving as a
Consider,
two disconnected transaction.
consider it similar to what we are doing with the projects. Once we receive the material, we issue them through the packing slip. So it's like consumed for that project. Similarly, if it is already in the factory's inventory and factory is taking it, we will issue the packing slip and consider it consumed. It
In
will
this
be
case,
removed from the system.
and you are receiving the same on behalf of them, right?
Yeah.
This is the current process. Okay. Okay. Very clear. For the inbound process, which is point you already discussed, but I need to highlight it more and to understand the current expectation, at least from your side. For the inbound processes, for the shipment that going to be received from the supplier, what is the process here? Do you have a full connected cycle with the procurement? Or do you have certain quality check for the inbound shipment? Do you have certain quality plan, quarantine warehouse? Can you tell me more about this process?
See, okay, I'll tell you. Physically, what we are doing, let's say they agreed with the supplier, the procurement that he's bringing over material. They will give us a call sometimes on the same day, and sometimes we tell them that the supplier is on our gate. He comes, we have a guy dedicated physically who will inspect while the material is still on the vehicle, just to physically make sure that everything is okay. Then we take it
From what
out.
perspective he is checking? From quantity point of view, or what exactly?
Just the look. Then we offload it to a temporary location, which is for inspection. And the warehouse team, they count, they check the physical integrity of the part of the material, and then they sign the delivery note. On that moment, they trigger an email and they send it to the requester along with the delivery note and the PO and the picture that we have received this material, kindly come for the inspection. Once the requester is coming, he will sign the MIR, which is material inspection report, which assures that technically it is specifically the same material which he ordered. The same thing has come in the same quantity.
This kind of confirmation, it's managed out of system.
Out of system, everything is out of system. After accumulating all these documents, warehouse will receive it in the system.
Okay.
From now, what I'm expecting from Oracle is that once we receive it, we as warehouse, we receive it in the system based on the delivery note. Then it goes for the second receiving to the requester, confirming that the same item is received and in the right, proper, good condition to bring it, to make it more digitalized.
Got you.
But
But sometimes you are receiving the item for certain project, right? And you are receiving the same in the centralized warehouse. So
Yeah.
how come the site or the project manager going to confirm that receiving?
See, the good thing is that because Alhamdulillah, Al Kauthar is a big company, so we have a lot of people from the project team also who are available in the offices, and they are technical people. They know what is coming, and they do the inspection. This is what we are doing regularly.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, in how you will set in the system, that it will go to the project manager of that project, and then he will dedicate it to somebody else
Okay.
in the system.
Like sometimes it will be a coordinator of project here in our office.
Yes.
Yani coordinator or a manager of this project.
Okay. And he's confirming or just give the confirmation about the receiving through
Exactly.
certain document, but offline but it's managed as an offline transaction. It's completely out of system.
Yeah, right now it's completely out of system.
We can handle this if the requester received the email or notification. Your material is received in the main warehouse, and the warehouse manager he issue the packing slip.
The receiving product.
If he is not available in the site or in the main warehouse, he can delegate the notification for another person.
Good. Good.
Another person he can accept or reject the material.
Okay. Do we have a direct shipment where the supplier going to ship directly the items to the project site without
Yeah.
going through the centralized warehouse?
Significant amount is there. A significant amount is there. Directly it goes to the site, yes.
In this case, how do you recognize the receiving of that item?
This is where the gray area comes. We are totally dependent on the people at site. They sign the delivery note, they make the MIR, the material inspection report, and they send it to us. Based on that email and attached documents, we do the receiving in the system.
Okay. And I think you are receiving and issue the item directly to that project, since you don't have for the time being you don't have a project warehouse.
Exactly. This is what we are doing.
Okay. Very clear. Out of this, for the inventory part, still do we have any point as an inventory business function? Because I need to just focus more on the procurement process. Before we jump into the procurement process, still do we have any point related to the inventory?
I want to finish. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me check if I have remaining something.
Please go ahead. And but by the way, you can for sure share with us your current obstacles or your current issues. But along with this, I need to hear from you your expectation. For example, reporting, dashboard, what kind of control you would like to have over your operation. So feel free to tell us about your if we can call it.
Great. See, another thing which we need from you is that, let's say, once the material is reserved, this is for the trading, by the way. If the material is reserved for one sales rep, approved by his department head, and if another sales rep try to allocate the same or try to take it in a new sales order, there should be an error that you cannot, because the material is already allocated.
Okay. For the same process, do you have a different zone for the different business entity you have? Like you have a zone for manufacturing, you have a zone for projects, you have another zone for the trading, or it's just shared location?
The allocation, we need it only for the trading.
Okay.
Or even in projects, it would be good. Still,
Good.
if we're gonna keep the inventory under a project name, then no need. But if it will be a general inventory for the company, then yeah, we need the allocation.
Okay.
Thank you. This will be it from my side.
Okay.
If
So
you have any questions.
I'm good. The partner, if you have any question related to the inventory, please go ahead.
Okay, Rakan, I think we can go to the procurement now.
Yeah.
Rami, and you.
Yes.
Yes. You can start if you have any question.
For the procurement.
Yes. procurement.
Actually, we have the PR and
PR.
SR.
Okay.
PR, it's okay now.
Clear? Are you here, us,
Means
Rakan?
there is no big issue with the PR.
Before we discuss,
Or
if you
the SR.
if you allow me, before we discuss your current process, let me tell you or just clear out the process that we are automating today from Oracle side. In general, as a procurement, we have a full source to settle transactions. It's not just procure to pay. That means today we are automating the full process starting from the supplier management, where we have a supplier portal that can let the supplier register themselves directly through the system and apply a certain qualification engine or qualification questionnaire over that supplier to make sure that we are dealing with the right supplier. And by the way, the portal, it's not just a portal where we can utilize it for registering the supplier. We can automate all the interactions, all the document between you as a buyer team with your suppliers, from invoicing, receiving, and so on. Taking the process further, we have the supplier qualification process. Today, as you know, we are dealing with the changing market. So the situation of the supplier going to be changed every day. So the supplier that you can consider it today as a stable supplier might be tomorrow, it's not the same case. So in this situation, we should always make sure that the supplier that already registered in our supplier database is stable enough to deal with. So in this case, we have SQM, or we can call it supplier qualification module, where we can always requalify the supplier from different aspects, financially, operational, according to his performance, and so on. So this is one of the aspects that we are covering. Taking the process further through the sourcing, where we call it negotiation, where we can automate the full RFQ process. We can initiate the RFQ from our side, push it through the portal to the listed suppliers, and we can capture all of their replies over that RFQ. And accordingly, we have the capability from the system to do the awarding cycle and give us the recommendation which supplier are best for us to deal with according to the price, to lead time, quality. It depends on the initiatives type itself. Once we have finalized the awarding, we can convert the document of the RFQ to the agreement, purchase agreement and contract management, where we manage the two aspects, if I can call it like this, the aspects that related to the operation, like the Incoterms, the lead time, the payment term, the payment schedule, and so on, as well as the legal and condition terms. We can have a contract management where we have a repository for the contracts and to track any update or override over the original document, and have a versioning document for the contract itself, till we reach to the last part of the procurement, which we call it procure to pay, which is the PR with a certain validation on the project budget, taking the document further through the PO, receiving, and invoicing. So this is the full cycle from our side that related to the procurement, where we call it again source to settle. So out of this cycle, if you can tell me what is the level of automation that you have out of this process, and what do you need exactly from that bundle?
Yes, for the SR, we need actually we have the many service requests which install supply and installation. You understand? So for the supply, there is the materials actually coming from the supplier and services as well. So what is the process in Oracle for this? Because we have just manually in our system now currently, we are making only the installation, service and installation. There is material we're putting manually. So is there possible there to receive in the system or something for this? For
As I told you, this is one of the parts that we can fulfill. It's not just related to the executional part of the procurement, which is the receiving, PR, MR. All of this document going to be automated. Even the upstream of the process, registering the supplier, qualification, applying certain qualification initiative to the supplier, the sourcing, the RFQ, the agreement, the contract, all of this process, it's available in the system. So today, I think all of this cycle today managed out of system.
No. We have the vendor pre-qualification we are making by system, and all the it's available, almost available. For the contract, we are making manually.
What about the RFQ? I don't think today you have the capability to.
I
recommend to you which RFQ are best for you.
We are making manually in the Word or Excel. The requester, yes.
Are you looking to
Yes,
to
yeah,
implement it
definitely,
as a
definitely.
online, yes, as a sourcing?
Yeah,
Yes.
requesters can make online, and when we submitted the quotation as
Yeah,
per the
quotation.
request, it should be received or something, because this IRFQ only for the quotation.
Okay.
Okay, if they need material, they will issue the PR. We are not working for the IRFQ, means IRFQ only for the quotation. After PR and SR, we need for the
Okay.
further
This
processing.
is what you are looking for the procurement side, yes?
Yes.
Okay. سؤال for Muhammad Salah. Is the other vendor proposed to these solutions? How you can compare apple to apple? Okay. Yes. And I want to understand, because we cover, as you see, the cycle, full cycle.
As I told you, the team attends the other vendor, not the same team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how
Another people.
you can compare? Okay. If we, for example, provide as a Oracle a solution to cover the cycle from the supplier portal, negotiation, contracting until the invoicing. Okay. We provide you.
They didn't ask for a portal, they just asked for
Now
PR and request to code and making comparison only, not without portal.
without portal.
You're asking for portal now?
Yeah, for the IRFQ, we need in portal.
Okay.
Portal for what?
For the supply.
Actually, if we are opening the discussion that related to the other solution provider, here we have a very main differentiator that we have to focus on. All of this capability that we are just discussing today, for example, for this session, which is focusing on the inventory and procurement, all of this capability coming through one solution team. We call it Oracle Cloud, Oracle Fusion Cloud. Inventory, the full procurement process, manufacturing, planning, project, all of these capability coming through one solution. That's mean we're gonna have a connected cycle, connected process. You're gonna have a single source of truth. In the procurement part, as we can see here, we are not just covering the PR validation of the budget and having a proper PO invoicing, receiving, and so on. We are taking the procurement further by having the right automation tools that related to supplier management, supplier portal, RFQ, negotiation. Even we have a certain AI flavor. I will give you just example. Today, you're gonna ask from your supplier to provide you with a certain certificate as an attachment. So in this case, what you are going to do, either to have attachment in the system as a blank attachment or blind attachment, and you have to go to that document and validate if this attachment relevant to the requested certificate or not, or you can receive it by email. Through our solution, once the supplier, for example, I'm giving you just an AI capability, or what would be the AI flavor among this process. So once the supplier submit the document over the portal, the AI going to read the content of that attachment and give you summarize about that content, and accordingly you're gonna know directly if this attachment relevant to the requested certificate or not. So as you can see here, we are going to give you a solution that automate all the aspects of the procurement. So and this is actually our main target here, to add a value to your solution, to add a value to your operation. It's not just automated the current process. We're gonna add more value by positioning a new capability for you that for sure going to streamline your business process. And according to my understanding today, what you have today out of procurement, it's a matter of PR and convert this PR to the PO document, invoicing, receiving. That's it. You don't have a proper quality process over the receiving. You don't have a supplier negotiation, RFQ, contract management, purchase agreement, all of these aspects managed out of system. But the beauty, if we can connect all of these processes.
We are making
ما في شيء على السيستم الا بس PR.
We are doing all these things, but manually. By email, we are
in the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Requester. After that, you are looking for quotations.
Yes.
Also by email.
Okay.
Then the final step على طول you are issue PO.
PO based on QCS. QCS we make manually.
So
QCS before PO. Yeah.
He will close it.
Yes.
Very simple.
Very clear. Very clear. Very clear. And this is, I think, the value that we can get out of this solution, which the capability that we can automate. It's not just automation, the connectivity between the same department, between the upstream, downstream, connect the procurement with the project team, connect the procurement with the inventory, manufacturing, and the other entity. So this kind of connectivity for sure going to give you more control, going to give you very good insights about your operation, which for sure going to impact your company control cost, revenue, and so on. So our understanding, just to confirm back to you, team, our understanding is right. I'm just asking, do we have the right understanding for your operation?
Yes, yeah.
And what do you think about the capability that we are discussing today? Is it going to add a value to your operation?
Yes, but I need more clarification for this one. This is the process I saw here. I want to understand. I firstly understand about things which we are doing now. So because I have a problem to the reporting and service request and service order, we have to implement in the means. I want to understand it's available or not in Oracle.
100% it's available, and in order to have it available in our system, we have to connect the process all together. So if you allow me, just I'm gonna go back to our main process here, which is project-driven supply chain. Here, if you can see, we have one of the stakeholder out of the execution, it's the procurement. In the procurement here, we're gonna make sure always that you are going to be connected with the projects. You are going to be connected with the production. You are going to be connected with the trading company. By having this connectivity through one solution, for sure you're gonna translate all of this demand to proper workable executional plan. And in order to have a proper automation for the procurement business function, you should have a full source to settle process, starting from supplier management, negotiation, RFQ, agreement and contract, requisitions, PR, with a proper workflow mechanism and budget validation process as well, till we reach to the PO, receiving and invoicing. So by having all of these capability all together, you're gonna control your operation. We're gonna give you a very simple dashboard that going to give you, for example, the top 5 suppliers according to their performance. It will giving you insights about your expense, your perfect order fulfillment that coming from that supplier. So different KPI that you can get simply from the dashboard, since all the process being automated and connected all together. And by the way, according to our discussion today, we are just understanding your operation. In later stage, we are going to demo to you what would be the solution and how we're gonna connect all of that process all together in order to give you more understanding about the solution capability.
Okay, yes. Okay. I have one question for this. After purchase order, there is receipt, right?
Yeah.
You know, we have some purchase request more than 200, 300 materials, items.
Okay.
So in the current, in our system now, if suppose 50% material is received and 50%
Balance.
means balance for the delivery. So in our system, it's showing open order. It's not showing by the means, if you go by the general, by the PO number, if there is one item remaining, it's showing open order. You understand? Open order. So this feature available in the Oracle to if material receive 50%, all the material should be received. It should show receive. Okay.
Yeah, here you are referring to the blanket order and receiving partially a certain quantity out of the full quantity, right?
Yeah. If invoiced, it should show invoice there. And for the open order, which balance should show open order. Now we don't have this one in AX.
Okay. So it's one of the standard capability where you can control all the partial shipment and compare it with the original quantity of that PO, and the system accordingly will giving you what the quantity that's been received and what would be the remaining.
Just to add my suggestion, in 4M3, for the similar kind of scenario, what we had was that there were 2 statuses coming on the main screen of your POs. One is showing, let's say, received, and the other one is saying that is still not. So it helps you understand that currently, partially, it has been received.
100%. And
by
you are,
item.
and you are going to have the same insights from the solution.
Yeah, we partially some balance, but in the general, if you go by the PO number, it's showing there it's open order. Yeah.
It's easy. Last there is button you can click to see each line what is received, what is remaining.
Yeah.
Yes, but you have to go inside. But he wanted on the outside.
And the header will be open until every single invoice.
No, but there can be
In
option.
the detail, you have to.
If there is one item pending, it will not show invoice.
Unless you will need the item or you don't need any
No,
more.
we need the item. It's partially
It's still open, so you can control.
but in the report when I make
query, open purchase order line, so you can know which line is still only open.
we have two types.
Here I think the question, how easy we can get that information from the system. So if we can have a dashboard where the system give us what would be the remaining quantity, what the quantity that been received, in very simple way, this is going to solve the issue, right?
Okay. For the major equipments, you know the ETA is different for the each sometimes for the each equipment. So there is option to put ETA based on the item code, means based on the PR item. Did you get my point?
No,
Because
if you can repeat it, please.
Item and the ETA is different from the supplier for the each item. So we have to just put in the remarks, or there is option to put the ETA for the different item wise.
What is the problem? This order is still open. What's the problem? Should be still open.
Yeah, order, but by item it should be.
Same for me. تلاقي باقي
If you want to focus this order, open the order. There is a
Yeah, the
so
problem-
you can each line what is remaining, what is done. If you want to follow,
I have to
with
make
the-
manually. Yeah, these things I'm asking. If the material received from the in
You
the
are
system.
going for the summary view, huh?
Yeah.
But you want to go detail. You have to go detail.
No, we go to the detail. We have
You want to see the detail from the summary view. How come?
no by the PO. If we go by the report, going to report by the
There is a
PO,
report.
PO by the item, there is showing only open order. If the material receive even, it's general showing open order for all the item. Even receive in the system, it should show receive.
You have inquiry open purchase order line, so you have to focus only for it. The only open line.
Then how we know how?
Even this line you receive partially, it will be open until you finalize all the quantity.
He's talking about
Something.
hundreds of POs.
What is happening?
Cannot-
What is happening?
No, there is a thousand line.
Bushmahandis.
In the PO level itself, he wants to see if it's partial delivery, not open. He wants to see partially
He already
delivered.
started some delivery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So what will happen?
صار update
No,
received.
Partially يعني.
Yeah.
هو عشان بس يبقى قدامنا وقدام
You need
بتاعه
only just
ان هو
extra
in progress.
Yeah.
Give us a status.
Status. What is the status?
Partial.
Partial delivered.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
right
very
now
clear.
it's-
You know, you need to get a very simple information about the item that you received and compare it with the original quantity
So
and to
many
see the partial of the percentage of that received.
Still open.
Can again.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can you repeat it, please?
So in general, what you are looking for, you would like to have this information in very simple way, like a dashboard, where it can tell you exactly how many items as a quantity being received from certain PO or in general across all the POs, and how much and how many quantity that being still open, not being received, in a very simple manner, like a dashboard, and accordingly you're gonna track the progress of that supplier for certain blanket order, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's fine.
Very clear. Very clear.
Okay, for the IRFQ, actually we are receiving from the trading department, IRFQ sometimes from the project. IRFQ, they just need the quotation. There we don't have to do more further their action. They just need the quotation. When they create in this application, the IRFQ, when we send the quotation to the requester, so there is any option to receive or means close, I mean, you understand?
So you need this document just to get the price from the supplier, right?
Yeah, because IRFQ for only for the quotation, they are requesting for the quotation. Okay, and when we submit to the price to the requester, it should be received by them.
Yes, 100%. And by the way, we are not call it RFQ, we call it RFI. Request for information. You can generate RFI to certain suppliers and share the same once they being received from the supplier as a replies to the requested stakeholder, to the project team.
This phase before quotation phase.
Exactly. And we call it RFI.
Then how it's closed? It will close in the system.
You-
Requester.
The RFI, once been approved, you can
when-
convert it as
there is your-
RFQ.
Should close for the requester.
Yes, by the requester should receive. When
Once he
we send
receive
to
the
them-
quotation, he will close it.
Yes.
And we prefer to keep it in the system, so quotation will be available in the system. So
Yeah.
next time we can refer this prices.
Yes, yeah.
If we have any other project had similar to the
Exactly.
current.
Exactly.
Okay. And there is one more question, please. When we issue the PO, there is the option to attach the all quotation and QCS in the PO. And there should be access.
No, not available, right?
No.
Yes.
There should be access for the supply chain director and procurement manager, not for all.
Okay.
Okay, all the companies should
Flex, you cannot touch now on the
do
X.
for him, because we are not going to, not doing this. We are not attaching,
But
You are not
exception-
attaching, I think, because even the process itself for the RFQ, it's out of system, right?
yes, yeah, IRFQ is out of system.
Very good.
I'm talking about the PR.
Noted.
PR process is PR, then 3, 4 quotation, whatever, as per request, and QCS we make the file. Before the PO, we compare the prices, and then this file we can attach there, right?
Yeah. What about the purchase agreement? Do you manage, do you have a certain agreement with the supplier and agreed on certain prices in
We
order?
have, means working every time with the new supplier, small, we have the huge projects.
As I heard before, they have foreign purchasing from outside KSA, they have some agreements.
Do you manage the agreement today in the system or out of system?
لا هذه كلها يا استاذ ركان اوت اوف ذا سيستم. احنا
Okay.
يعني بكل بساطه انا زي ما قلت لك اول، احنا البي ار بيجي من الريكوستر سواء كان من المصنع او من المشاريع. بعد كده كله باي ايميل، تسعيرات، جدول المقارنات الكيو اس اس. بعد احنا ما نستلم المعلومات هذه على طول البرشس اللي هو الاوفيسر اللي عندنا بريكرومنت اوفيسر بيطلع البيو على طول.
مفهوم.
كل شيء.
كيميكالز، في كيميكالز بتجيبوها انتوا على الدفعات، يعني حد حكى
الكيميكال هذا احنا بنسوي from the beginning of the year 1 BO for full quantity.
لايك كونتراكت،
Yes.
لايك
one purchasing order full quantity والدليفري خلاص بالايميل.
Yeah,
احنا
as per the term we.
But
Yeah,
you have to
version.
each how
Yes.
Yes, in the remarks.
Yeah. فاحنا السيستم
استخدموا البيرشيز اجريمنت بس في حاله شغل الكيميكالز، وبيحددوا كل كميه يستلموها.
يس عندنا طبعا اني اجريمنت احنا موجوده عندنا، ويعني في الشير فولدر، يعني ما هي موجوده في السيستم كلها
يعني
عندنا، يعني ما في
واضح
اي شيء.
external spreadsheet. يعني لو نلخص الموضوع كبروكيورمنت،
ايوه
السبلاير مانجمنت، الريجستريشن للسبلاير، النيغوشيشن والسورسنج والار اف كيو والار اف اي، الكونتراكت والبيرشيس اجريمنت، all of these process today are managed out of system.
ايوه احنا اوت اوف سيستم، بس السيستم بي ار converted to BO.
واضح جدا. واضح جدا.
طيب لو تفضلت في تكمله اسامه زميلك رامي، بدكم اياه هذا الحكي اوتوميتد؟
Yes sure. يعني انا what I need now انه during او انا before the BO issuance I need to attach the prices in the system, the QCS, also the technical approval email. This information should be in the system.
الايميلز ولا عايز الفيكشر
كل شيء.
تشتغل على السيستم، تعمل كوتيشن من جوه السيستم عشان
Yes.
توافق على فيندوز ودخله في ورك فلو لغايه ما مدير المشتريات يوافق على الفيندوز. تعمل بيرشيز اجريمنت وتحط عليه شروط استلام على كل كميه.
طبعا اكيد
هو عايز الكلام ده.
إيه، انا عايز يعني
يعني
انا دحين انا عندي لما نحط الكوتيشن في السيستم مع الجدول حق الكيو سي اس، انا ابغى في السيستم اوبشن انها تروح للتكنيكال تيم so they can check the prices, he can check the QCS. If he agree, he can in the system make approved and he can put in the remark I prefer to go, let's say, with the quotation number 2
Yes.
because technically approved, matching my
Yes,
requirement.
criteria.
Notification, it will be go directly to procurement manager. He can process PO after that.
أكيد.
كل ما في السيستم. احنا ما عندنا we miss this
Okay.
point.
واعتقادي يعني اليوم بعيدا عن الاكسكيوشنال بارت تبع البريكيورمنت في بعض الجفرنس احنا وي هاف تو الايند وذ. على سبيل المثال المحتوى المحلي. اليوم انا المفروض اتعامل مع موردين حققوا المحتوى المحلي المطلوب بحيث انه انا اكون الايند مع توجه الدولي. صحيح؟
يس مظبوط.
فبالتالي انا لازم يكون عندي بروبر اس كيو ام او كواليفيكيشن بروسيس عشان اضمن انه هذا المورد فعلا الايند مع هذا المحتوى، مع المحتوى
Yes.
المحلي.
مظبوط صح. انا عندي يعني لسه دوبي بتكلم معك about ال evaluation list. احنا هذه برضو تقييم السبلاير evaluation manual Excel sheet.
نعم.
Every month you are doing the update. I need this to be in the system.
مفهوم جدا. مفهوم.
هذه it should be from the system. يعني أنا كمان I prefer after we issue the PO we need
performance control.
we need to ask also the technical team to evaluate the services or the item.
صحيح. حتى قبل ما اتعامل انا مع المورد المفروض يكون عندي كواليفيكيشن اريا كويشنير اتاكد انه هذا المورد فعلا بحقق التوجه تبعي كمشتريات من عده يعني
احنا عندنا approval اللي هو الليست. احنا before we adding the new supplier في عندنا form. برضه هذه الفورم we are doing manual. We are sending to the supplier. He is filling out the sheet and he return back to us. Based on this sheet, we are adding the vendor in the system.
مفهوم. يعني هي مش يعني فعليا يعني هي مش بس ورك فلو. يعني انت اليوم لازم يكون عندك كواليفيكيشن اريا. يعني مثلا المحتوى المحلي لازم يكون في عندك سيرتن كريتيريا متطابقه مع توجهك انت كشركه وتوجه الدولي بشكل عام. فاليوم لو النظام عمل هذا الاوتوميشن او هذا السكورينج، اعطاك اوتو سكورينج وقال لك هذا المورد مثلا السكورينج تبعه 20%، فانا اليوم بالنظام بامكاني فعليا عمليه تقييم المورد تكون تاتشلس بروسيس، بمعنى انه ما يكون فيها اي انترفير من البزنس يوزر، بناء على وضع المورد وبناء على السيرتيفيكت اللي عنده والانبوت اللي اجتني من المورد السيستم يعطيني تقييم آلي بصوره كامله. او بامكاني اخليها هايبريد موديل، يكون عندي تقييم من الباير تيم وسكورينج من السيستم. لما اوصل لهذا الليفل من الكنترول بتخيل هذا راح يضيف لي كثير على الاوبريشن. صحيح؟
Yes, yes. اكيد صحيح طبعا. يعني انا افضل انها تكون من السيستم انه هو يقيم خلاص الباير هو اللي يقيم المورد. واذا كمان نقدر نخلي التكنيكال تيم انهم يقيموا الباير هذا حيكون شيء.
صحيح، زي البروجكت مانجر مثلا او الانجينيرنج تيم. اكيد
هم اللي بيستعملوا المواد، هم يعرفوا اذا هذا الكواليتي حقها جود كواليتي باد كواليتي.
صحيح.
اللي عندي في البريكيرمنت هم اللي حيشوفوا اذا هو الدليفري تايم حقه كويس، البيمنت تيرمز كويسه. هذا يعني.
كان احنا do you have any more questions ولا علشان احنا طبعا الوقت سحب معانا جامد.
انا from my side I'm done يعني. بس I'm enjoying الدiscussion بصراحه مع التيم. بس from my side as inventory procurement I'm done.
طيب احنا
انا بس بشكل مبسط زي ما قلت لك المشتريات كل اللي قلته هذا يبغى نضيفه. احنا السيستم حقنا سمبل بي ار بنحول البي او ان بتوين زي ما انت شايف ما عندنا شيء كله مانوال.
مفهوم.
هذا هو في المشتريات يعني كذا السمري. وفي الوير هاوس اتوقع وضحها ابراهيم النقاط بشكل مبسط جدا انه واضحه.
طيب انتوا شايفين من ناحيتنا الامور واضحه؟ شايفين الانجيجمنت من ناحيتنا كان يتكلم
لا انا شايف في مع بعض في نفس
احنا
ماشيين مع بعض في نفس النهج. انت do you have any question?
No.
You feel everything okay? Did you feel he got all the points you mentioned?
He felt me where I wanted him to be.
Okay.
I like this statement.
Yes, هذا
He give you what exactly you need.
Yeah.
Rakan, يعني thank you very much. Rakan, as usual, it was very fruitful.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Inshallah, we will prepare for the next step.
Great.
We'll have complete storytelling for the complete Al-Kawthar business requirements starting from awarding the project, planning the project, executing it through the 3 layers. Either it's operational maintenance, manufacturing, contracting, in addition to the trading part, etc. Our team, inshallah, will giving you a great cycle to improve whatever we have today, and also to give you what is the future. And we are talking about a complete innovation direction. We call it Fusion application. It's the most innovative cloud-based application.
Okay.
So inshallah, you will see something very top notch. Inshallah.
خلاص ان شاء الله باذن الله. فرصه سعيده يا شباب، فرصه سعيده استاذ راكان.
وانا اسعد حياكم الله. Nice to meet you, team.
Lovely meeting you guys. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.